Ever wondered why hacking, a term usually associated with negativity, could also be a savior in certain situations? Welcome to the intricate labyrinth of the cyber world, where every turn can lead to a new discovery or a potential pitfall. Today we're diving deep into the enigma that is hacking, a concept that often stirs up a cocktail of fear, fascination, and misunderstanding. Hacking, in its simplest form, is the act of exploiting weaknesses in a computer system, network, or application. Now don't let your imagination run wild with images of shadowy figures cloaked in hoodies typing away furiously in a dimly lit room. That's the stuff of Hollywood. Real-life hacking can be as mundane as forgetting your password and trying to bypass the login page, but like a coin, hacking too has two sides. On one hand, we have the infamous black hat hackers, the cyber outlaws who use their skills for malicious intent, causing havoc and chaos in the digital world. They exploit the loopholes in systems to gain unauthorized access, steal sensitive information, or disrupt services. On the other hand, there are the white hat hackers, the unsung heroes of the cyber world. They too exploit the same loopholes, but for a completely different reason. They're the digital world's watchmen, using their skills to identify and fix vulnerabilities, strengthening the system against potential threats. Loopholes in hacking, much like the practice itself, can be a double-edged sword. They are the secret passages that can either lead to a treasure trove of information or become the gateway to fortifying a system against cyber attacks. Now let's delve into the intriguing world of hacking loopholes, where every vulnerability is a potential opportunity and every fix, a step towards a safer cyber world. Buckle up for a journey that promises to be as thrilling as it is enlightening. Let's explore together whether these loopholes are a boon or a bane in the grand scheme of hacking. Loopholes in hacking, what are they exactly? A fascinating question indeed. You see, in the world of cybersecurity, loopholes refer to the vulnerabilities or weak points in a system, network, or a piece of software. These are the chinks in the armor, so to speak, that hackers exploit to gain unauthorized access to information or even take control of entire systems. Now you might be wondering, how do these vulnerabilities come about? Well, they can arise from a variety of factors. It could be due to poor coding practices, inadequate security measures, outdated software, or even human error. In essence, anywhere there's a gap in security, there's potential for a loophole. Consider, for instance, the infamous Sony Pictures hack in 2014. Here's a classic example of how these loopholes can be exploited. Hackers identified weak points in the company's network security and used them to infiltrate the system. They stole confidential data, including unreleased films and sensitive personal information of employees, leading to significant financial and reputational damage for Sony. This incident served as a wake-up call for organizations worldwide about the importance of robust cybersecurity measures. But it's not just about identifying these loopholes. Hackers are experts at exploiting them, often using sophisticated techniques that are hard to detect. They might use malware, for instance, to infect a system and then lie dormant, only to spring into action when the time is right. Or they might employ phishing tactics, tricking unsuspecting users into revealing their login credentials. The key takeaway here is that loopholes in hacking aren't just theoretical concepts. They are real, tangible risks that can have significant implications. And as our reliance on digital systems grows, so too does the potential for these vulnerabilities. That's why understanding these loopholes, and more importantly, how to protect against them, is crucial in today's digital age. As seen from the Sony example, loopholes in hacking can have devastating consequences. Let's delve deeper into this in the next section, where we will discuss the bright and dark sides of hacking loopholes. Stay tuned. But could there possibly be a bright side to these hacking loopholes, you might ask? It seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? As it turns out, the answer is not as black and white as we might initially think. Hacking loopholes, believe it or not, can sometimes be a force for good. Take, for instance, the organizations that use these loopholes to their advantage, not for nefarious purposes, but in the pursuit of justice and security. These entities, which can range from government agencies to cybersecurity firms, leverage the existence of these loopholes to uncover vital information, expose potential threats, and ultimately, to safeguard the public. To illustrate this point, let's delve into a real-life case study: the FBI's use of a hacking loophole to unlock an iPhone in the San Bernardino shooting case. Here, the FBI faced a conundrum. An iPhone that could potentially hold crucial information was locked and encrypted. To access this information, the FBI exploited a security loophole in the iPhone software. This allowed them to bypass the encryption and access the data, leading to valuable insights that helped progress the investigation. This example serves to highlight the potential benefits of hacking loopholes. In certain circumstances, they can be crucial tools in the fight against crime and terrorism. They allow for the retrieval of key information that would otherwise remain inaccessible, helping to ensure the safety and security of society. However, it's important to remember that the use of such loopholes should always be governed by strict ethical guidelines. This ensures that they are used responsibly and for the right reasons, to protect and serve, rather than to infringe upon the rights and freedoms of individuals. So, to answer our initial question, yes, there can indeed be a bright side to hacking loopholes. They can prove instrumental in solving crimes, thwarting potential threats, and ensuring the safety of the public. However, their use must always be tempered with a strong sense of responsibility and ethics. Indeed, hacking loopholes can sometimes be a force for good. However, the potential harm of these hacking loopholes cannot be understated. As we delve into the darker aspects of hacking loopholes, it's important to note that these gaps in security aren't always used for noble causes. Rather, they often serve as a gateway for malicious activities that can result in serious consequences. Take for instance the infamous WannaCry ransomware attack in 2017. This was a prime example of how hacking loopholes can be exploited to wreak havoc on a global scale. The perpetrators of this attack utilized a flaw in Microsoft's Windows operating system, a loophole that had been left unaddressed. Now, imagine a regular day turning into a digital nightmare. You switch on your computer, only to be greeted by a screen demanding a ransom. Your files, your data, and your digital life held hostage. That's exactly what happened to millions of unsuspecting users in the WannaCry attack. Hospitals, businesses, government agencies, and individuals were left paralyzed as their systems were locked down. This is the grim reality of hacking loopholes when they fall into the wrong hands. They can be used to interrupt essential services, steal sensitive information, and cause widespread disruption. The ripple effects are immense, impacting not just individual users but entire economies. The WannaCry attack served as a wake-up call for the world, highlighting the urgent need to address these loopholes. Yet despite the lessons learned, new loopholes continue to be discovered, and the cycle of exploitation persists. This underscores the perpetual game of cat and mouse between hackers and security experts. So while hacking loopholes can indeed lead to breakthroughs and advancements, they also pose a significant threat to our digital world. It's a double-edged sword that needs careful handling. Negligence or ill intent can turn these loopholes into digital weapons, causing more harm than good. Clearly, the misuse of hacking loopholes can lead to catastrophic outcomes. Let's remember, it's not just about the loophole. It's about who finds it and how they choose to use it. So, where does this leave us in the grand scheme of things? As we've seen, hacking loopholes are a complex issue, teetering on a fine line between boon and bane. They are like double-edged swords, capable of both safeguarding our digital world and threatening it. On one side, these loopholes can serve as the gateways for ethical hackers, the white hats, to identify vulnerabilities, strengthen security measures, and protect our systems. They are the unsung heroes, constantly working behind the scenes to ensure our digital fortress remains unbreached. On the flip side, these very same loopholes can be exploited by the black hats, the malicious hackers who lurk in the shadows of the digital realm. They use these gaps in our security to invade privacy, steal sensitive information, and sow seeds of chaos. It's a dangerous game, one that could cost us dearly if not properly managed. But the question remains, how do we balance the scale? How do we ensure that these hacking loopholes are used for the greater good and not for nefarious purposes? The answer, my friends, is not simple. It demands a multifaceted approach, a combination of stringent regulations, continuous education, and proactive vigilance. Regulations need to be put in place to deter potential miscreants, to ensure that there are consequences for those who misuse these loopholes. But laws alone cannot suffice. We also need to educate the public, the users of the digital world, about the importance of cybersecurity. An informed user is a secure user. And finally, we need to be vigilant. We need to stay one step ahead of the game, constantly identifying, patching, and securing these loopholes. It's a never-ending battle, but one that we cannot afford to lose. In the end, the key lies in understanding and responsibly managing these hacking loopholes. For in the right hands, they can be a tool for protection, but in the wrong ones, a weapon of destruction.